Haven't played Warcraft 3 for a long time, but I've noticed the orc is no longer seal the base with proper layout. So it's not a thing in orc versus orc now. It can be. You do it based on your own needs. If you realize you need it because everyone's playing Blade Cheese, then you can wall it off. Would you like to know? No, I would not like to know. Don't spoil who wins. We are still casting it. Can you explain, please, how to play Farseer 1 racks Headhunters versus Farseer 2 racks Proxy Shop Tier 1 push? Ready to work. Well, since you already went tech, you should get a second hero. It can be Shadow with Heal Wave, Pit Lord with Howl of Terror, or Panda with Fire Breath. You should get one of those 3 things. And you can also make 1 or 2 towers. And if you have money and time for it, fortified defenses. That's the win condition, getting fortified defenses. Because once you do, he cannot break your towers anymore. That means you can get out a catapult to kill his towers. Okay, I have to restart this. The last 2 games were not YouTubeable because they were so short. But this one will be better, I think. 14 minutes. It's 1-1 now, yes. Hey guys, welcome to another game of Hitman versus INFI this time. Hitman playing under Ethereal. He's the best North American player, and INFI is one of the best Chinese players. They're among the best players in the world. Hitman right now is ranked 2 on W3 Champions, and INFI is a fantastic random player on W3 Champions. We just watched 2 games of a 5 replay set that Hitman sent to me after viewers saw that they had a exhilarating 5-game series on the W3 Champions ladder. I was able to get those replays. We watched, though they are not on YouTube, we watched 2 games just now. One where INFI won on Northern Isles with random Night Elf, a quick keeper level 3 and then Archer Rush. Game over. Then we saw the second game where Hitman won against INFI's Orc on Last Refuge. Hitman going standard blade grunts, and INFI with Farseer, Headhunter, Shadowhunter, and then a Kodo Tower Rush attempt. But Hitman killed way too many Headhunters on the way to tier 2. Probably about 3, 4, maybe even 5. And it was a pretty quick game. Both were 9-minute games. Here's game number 3 between Hitman and INFI, and we can see that it's Concealed Hill, and INFI rolled Undead. He has a Crypt Lord first. He's going for double Ziggurat, no Acolyte Scout, and Ghoul production. The Acolyte Scout has been cut from the build because there's never food or money for it. Now he's got the money for the Acolyte. He might decide to make it, but that would actually delay his 5th Ghoul. Typically, this build goes into a fast expansion build. There are cases where you don't go for that. If, for instance, INFI were to scout Farseer 1 base, 1 barracks Headhunter tech, he may choose, like Exlord did recently against Fly, he may choose to just go to tier 2 and play a normal game. But as it stands, Hitman, which INFI doesn't know, is going for a Blade Master and Grunt opener with a 1 bro tech, and that means it will be advantageous for INFI to do a fast expansion. Although it may feel like the Crypt Lord Ghouls can get harassed pretty big, especially on a mean camp like this with 5 creeps, 3 level 3s, a level 1 and a level 5 with a damage aura, poison as well. It may feel like Blade Master can do really good harass there. That is kind of true, but it has been found that a Crypt Lord with beetles and skeletons can make so much junk that despite Blades being able to pick off one thing or another, there's still enough to spare in order to make the expansion actually work. Usually they will get that level 2 first on this particular map because it is a bit of a bigger camp. It gives them more lumber buildup. And then they can bring more ghouls. They'll usually use 5 units or so. Yeah, the beats will chase down the peon. They use 5 units to try and surround the grunt. And the blade just has to be counterplayed with Dust of Appearance, regular auto attacks, Impale as the final threat, and of course Creep Stop Micro, which means you try to stop attacking a creep when it has 80 life. Blade's Windwalk deals bonus 40 damage. He's gonna steal that one. His baseline damage on average is like 38. So you stop a creep at 90 HP, and there's a good chance that when he hits it, he misses. Let's see who gets the final hit. Impale to secure the Overseer for INFI, and that means he's level 2.9 because 1 creep was stolen. We see 2 units on the grunt, 1 unit on the grunt. He's sending everything back, and he starts his expansion. You need 45 seconds to fully optimize using a healing salve. So although Hitman was able to steal 1 creep, we can see that despite the feared power of the invisible ninja, the Blade Master, there's just too much stuff for him to walk through. He's gonna take several hundreds points of damage to walk through that, and thus it becomes possible to do what for a long time had not been possible for Undead, which is to fast expand against an orc. And basically, ever since the year 2003 until 2019, Undead fast expand against orc was incredibly niche, usually to the point of being entirely unviable. But even Dreadlord expand or Death Knight expand, there have been attempts. In 2005 or 6, Lucifer tried to Cryptlord fast expand against me on Terranus Stand, which is a good map for it. He did really good. I was totally surprised, which means I should not have the optimum response, but I won anyway. It's a testament to how well Orc was doing against Undead. Maybe a little bit my adaptation power as well, but overall it really wasn't as well developed, and partially it's also because Undead got some buffs in a patch the last few years that made this better. Cheaper Goldmine, cheaper Necropolis, Acolytes more regen. Either way, if we look at the current state, it's been a very effortless expansion for INFI. He's already made the final Acolyte now, so he can tech immediately at 6:02. Let's keep note of when he's actually teching so that we know how late he is. There we go, 6:10. 8 seconds late is it's not that bad. Unusual in StarCraft 2 to have such delay timings be permissible, but StarCraft 2 is very much about macro, and there are a lot of micro skirmishes that take a slightly higher priority. You could still say that optimized play should mean that you don't have an 8-second delay like that, but on the other hand, this is also a ladder game, not the finals of a tournament. Sometimes someone like INFI may be reading a stream chat during that time as well, you never know. 8 seconds is permissible. There comes the Graveyard, a second Necropolis. You may wonder why. Well, it's a nice blocker. It helps against future Acolyte kills, so you can reproduce Acolytes, even if your main building is still teching to tier 2 or 3. And the shop, all of this together is just creating a lot of blocks that is making it impossible for Blade Grunts to attack the Acolytes. And the Nerubian makes it totally unattractive for the Blade to do solo Acolyte attack actions. So it is walkers, 2 walkers with upgrade, and a quick tier 3, no war mill yet, and then creeping at the first daybreak, getting that shredder. You can get the shredder not just at 6 AM, which is first daybreak, but at 2300, 11 PM the night before, which is a 7-hour game time difference, which is a 140-second difference, since it's 20 seconds per hour in-game hour. That's a pretty big time difference. He could have had it at maybe the 6-minute mark of the game, like real time, which would give him more lumber, but he was still busy harassing. There were a few Hex Ghoul kills that I kind of skipped over because I was talking about other things. And because those Ghoul kills, while they do matter, they don't actually end up amounting to all that much, since the Undead has an expansion so quickly. INFI crept the Goblin Laboratory, got a Shredder as well, a little bit later, but roughly the same time, finding a potion of greater healing. His tier 2 is about to finish, and he has started Crypt Fiend and Attack production. Now going for the Ogre. He's probably going to use Dust of Appearance when it has 200 life, then drop the Gauntlet of Strength, or the second charge of Dust, and then he's going to pick up the item. This is not going to be a clean creeping. This can be done better. This can be done a lot better. He's going to narrowly actually win. I think 3 ghouls have been killed already. Maybe 4. 5 ghouls perhaps. And eventually he's going to get it. I mean, it's a really nice pickup that cannot be reproduced by purchase from the marketplace. But holy god, 5 ghouls, it comes at a hefty price. However, with Shredder at home, one may even argue it was on purpose. The Shredder is more cost efficient than any amount of ghouls can be on lumber, and he's going to have enough lumber for a lifetime very soon. And he wants to replace those squishy ghouls with fiends. The fact that INFI isn't hitting tier 3 right now means he's going to do a tier 2 timing attack. He's going to make probably a 65 food, double statue, double banshee, 7 fiend attack, and try to overwhelm before Hitman gets his perfect army. Now, what does Hitman's perfect army look like? Well, we can see that right after he got the Shredder, he sold something, he bought a tiny Great Hole, and he counter expanded. He right now has about 12,000 gold left in the mine, and this one has 10,200. So we have roughly a 1,700 gold advantage for INFI that he has already mined. 1,700 gold. That's a difference of about a little over 2.5 minutes. So that is the bonus that INFI has built up. In exchange, we have a higher level Shadow Hunter, level 3.4. We have a Blade 3.8 against the Cryptlord 4.2, but the Death Knight being only level 1. We do have a Fiend attack upgrade, and the second upgrade is coming also.
Have you heard the joke about the Slim Jim on the airplane? No? Well, it would probably just go over your head.
Thank you very much. The Shredder now coming as well. 60 food has been reached. We have 2 Banshees, we have a statue, 1 statue and 2 Banshees coming. And that is a lot of illusions. The TC has already come out. Some of these grunts are fake also. Ghouls are dropping like flies. And the DK has no invulnerability potion. It's kind of hard for INFI to figure out what's real and what's fake. This is how it looks like to him. And this is a well-prepared army, to be honest. Like, oh my god, there's already a Tauren out as well. A Tauren and a Kodo. And here he is with his really basic army that doesn't have a Lich, doesn't have an Orb of Corruption, no invul on DK, and just a bunch of 2-0 fiends against Spirit Link that he cannot dispel because there's no Destroyer upgrade. What a clinic that Hitman is putting on here. His early creeping that started with this camp and then the Goblin Shop led him to harass just 1 creep with 0 gold mine delays. He didn't cancel the gold mine once, and then just leisurely got his own Shredder, very clean and fast creeping with Shadow. Didn't even try to contest the Ogre Lord. Got his Shadow level 3 quietly, and here is his ideal army. And this is the army he's always getting. Taurens, Master Walkers, Kodo with drums upgrade, and Wind Riders. Meanwhile, Beetles are harassing a few peons, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. Note that despite having 3 grunts, he never upgraded Brute Strength. Doesn't have the bonus 3 damage and 100 health. This was all from 1 bestiary. Now he's making a second bestiary with the first upgrade of steel ranged weapons. And he's right now INFI of course probably upgraded web. I would imagine he has web since he has seen the first Wind Rider. There are a lot of fiends though. Losing the Shredder was, by the way, not ideal. It was really an all-in attack by INFI. Bringing the Shredder in and losing it quite early. It looks like, by the way, there is no web yet. He doesn't have the lumber for it because he brought the Shredder and most of his ghouls. So it doesn't feel entirely optimized by INFI, his economy. He's also supply blocked at a few crucial times. Now finally getting web upgrade, as we can see. And here comes another attack with the DK regrettably still not being at level 2. The Crypt Lord not with a lot of mana. And we have the Dragon Creep as well by Hitman. What did he get? It is going to be the Robe of the Magi +6. Fantastic item for Shadow. He's going to TP in. I imagine he's going to TP right here to be out of position of the... Nope! Straight to the front! Once more into the breach, dear friends. Gets one Fiend instantly. He's got a Banshee, I think, and it could have killed the second Banshee, but didn't. And this Wind Rider actually survives because of the Spirit Link upgrade. Meanwhile, Beetles harassing the expansion will get dispatched by the Spirit Walker that was on guard duty, which is a very common move in StarCraft, but not very common in Warcraft 3. There's a lot more keep your units close to yourself in order to protect and boost them with your hero power. But when you're playing a 2-base game versus 2-base, it can pay to leave some dispellers at your base. Humans do this as well with priests against wolves or breakers against wolves, and definitely a good play here. We have now the flank coming in. 2 orbs of corruption by the... Oh no, 1 orb of corruption on the Crypt Lord. Coil misses on the Fiend. We do have 1 Wind Rider going down fairly fast. DK gets focused. Can he save it? He can't. 195 crit. Wyvern getting attacked. He's got Orb of Corruption hitting the Shadow, not doing too much there. And the Fiends are running, and that's going to be a GG. Very clean game by Hitman. I just wanted to see one more time how he crept up his Shadow Hunter after getting the Goblin Shredder, because that was some sick creeping. And I want to see the timing of the Gold Mine. The Gold Mine started at maybe 4 minutes and 15 seconds, which is within the permitted timing of not cancelling it. Okay, a 4:11, a 4:10 Gold Mine start. In my personal benchmark, you need to cancel the Gold Mine until it starts after the 4-minute mark, so that it finishes at the 6-minute mark or later. It takes, as you can see, 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Summoning is complete.
I still feel like it's quite an early gold mine, so I'm quite impressed that it leads to such a quote-unquote effortless victory. So if one ghoul gets killed here by the Shadow, and then the Shadow turns around, I just want to see this one more time from Hitman's perspective. He creeps this camp, goes to the laboratory, creeps the whole thing together with Blade for bonus DPS, gets the Shredder, runs back, sells the Wand of Mana Steel for a lot of gold, 60% of its value, 240, gets the Tiny Great Hole, creeps the whole thing together with the Shadow, drops the Great Hole before even finishing a single creep, 5 peons head over, War Mill starts, Master Training coming, Bestiary. 1 peon accidentally goes back, Shadow creeps. Oh! But he's gonna revive it. It's okay. Right? Yeah. Only Orc can get away with that mistake. Alright, that's how Shadow got level 3. Now he's scouting. He sees that the all-in is coming. I think he's... Yeah, he also saw the fact that it was a tier 2 attack, which is important info. I want to see if he makes any changes based on that. We head again to the 9-minute mark. So Blade is scouting. He saw the red spot, finishes 1 creep, scouts again, sees it's tier 2. He sees tier 2, Slaughterhouse Temple, and no tier 3 started. So it's pretty obvious to him that this is going to be a tier 2 attack. So you see that he pushes over 50 foot immediately, reinforced defenses, 1 more burrow, a Tauren, and his TC was already coming. 3 grunts and 2 walkers. Like I said, interestingly, no brute strength. Doesn't feel like he has the lumber for it. War drums. Orb of Lightning and a second shop. And then 6 illusions. By the way, when you have illusions, it's better not to use Link there are pros and cons to Link. Link spreads damage and illusions take more damage. So when linked illusions die, they spread bonus damage to units. But at the same time, if non-linked, like if non-illusion units get hit, they spread their damage to the illusion as well. Which means they are receiving a smaller percentage of the whole since it's being spread out by more. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Basically though, if you have linked illusions against Dispel, that is a very cost-efficient way for a player to do loads of damage to the Orc army. Let's say I've got 10 illusions and 5 real units, and all 10 illusions get insta-dispelled by 6 destroyers. I'll take several hundreds of points of damage on all of my real units just from Dispel, which is really awkward. Except, of course, the first Devour removes the link, so you would have to relink for that whole thing to be effective. Yeah, the illusions made quite a big difference actually, because he didn't have Dispel. So now we know the timings of all that, and yeah, Hitman wins, so the score is 2-1 for Hitman.